Well, good evening. Welcome to the DBS Sports, brought to you by the Caribbean Premier League. Barbados Kimani Melius and the Grizzlies Jonel Eugene both got starts in the first innings of the fifth match of the West Indies Under-19 cricket tournament. But Simeon Gerson is continuing to dominate proceedings. Batting first against Jamaica, the Windward Islands were bowled out for 184 in 52.2 overs. Taj Tavernier top scored with 53. Michael Joseph scored 34. Jonel Eugene again got a good start, but was out caught for 29, while Kimani Melius got to 25. In response, Jamaica is currently on the 233 for 6, but that was at lunch. Ricardo McIntosh scored 64. Simeon Gerson again picked up the critical wicket of McIntosh as he continued to do the heavy lifting. By lunch, Gerson had already bowled 24 overs, picking up 3 for 75. Wow. Now, the opening matchup of the 2018 Caribbean Premier League gets underway tonight. In the match scheduled for Trinidad, the St. Lucia Stars, they take on defending champions Trinbago Knight Riders. The Knight Riders will be looking to continue where they left off from last year's tournament, as they dominated in every facet of the shortened format of the game. The Knight Riders will feature perhaps the greatest T20 bowler thus far, Sunil Narine, and perhaps the greatest all-rounder playing currently, Dwayne Bravo. For the Stars, they will be looking to overturn their fortunes and get things going on a positive note. Last year, Stars became the only team to not register a win in an entire CPL season. As a result, the owners brought in new captain Kieran Pollard, aggressive opener Lindell Simmons, and of course David Warner into the batting lineup. In the bowling department, Stars will be hoping that Keswick Williams provides the team with the strike bowling they missed out on last year. They will be depending on the quickest bowler in the region, Odin Smith, and a host of other all-rounders to restrict the opponent. The first matchup of the 2018 CPL season gets underway at 8 p.m. tonight. Well, the Department of Youth and Sport and Northern Cluster Grassroots Summer Holidays Cricket Program continued on Tuesday, August 7th at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground. 62, the largest number of attendees thus far. Young enthusiastic students from schools across the island enjoyed and learned quite a bit from the 5-hour session. The eighth day of this special program took the following format: prayers and welcome, ice-breaking activities, warm-up activities, fielding, catching and throwing drills, batting skill enhancement, lunch and mini cricket matches. Alton Crafton, Alan Ashby, Neras O'Geese and 3 colleague coaches from the UK-based United Through Sports organization must be commended for their excellent work. Well, the summer cricket program continues on Wednesday, August 8th with another cookout, and on Thursday, August 9th with further cricket development and fun activities. Now, the Coca-Cola International Tennis Tournament continued today at the National Tennis Center in Beauséjour. In action from St. Lucia today, Jordan Hunt, he took on Christian Queenie from Switzerland. In the match that started at 9 a.m., Queenie got the better of our local star, winning 2-0. Well, that match ended 6-love, 6-2. Now, at 11 a.m., St. Lucia's Max Williams, he took on Felipe Marcellet from the Netherlands. We'll provide you with those results when we get them. Now, all roads lead to the Marigo playing field this Saturday as the journey to Black Hat continues. On Monday night, we caught up with the CEO of Black Hat, David Christopher, who spoke about the event.
This weekend, we're going to move across to the west, where we're going to see some of the past champion like Canaries and Anfleury. They will be in action this weekend. South Castries and Roseau. We're looking for 2 more teams out of that group. And then the big boys come next weekend. We're going to see your team, who's kicking up a storm up in the north. We'll see teams like the Grosley team. You'll see the champion, the Coca-Cola champion, Marsha, who is looking very good these days. We'll see Central Castries, Laclery. The national under 20 will be showing their face also next week in Marsha. So the momentum for the train is moving around the island, as the slogan said, bringing it to the people.
Well, from 2 p.m., South Castries, coached by former national defender Nicholas Inglis, will take on Dejal Augustine and Anslary. Immediately after, Canaries, they will take on Roseau. Wow, well, we take a break. But when we get back, St. Lucia's male and female youth football teams continue to impress overseas. Welcome back. Now, St. Lucia continues to steadfastly soldier on in the CONCACAF Under-15 Girls Tournament, currently taking place in Miami, Florida. Now, on Tuesday, 7th August 2018, they turned the tables on the highly fancied Bahamian team with an emphatic 2-0 victory. Their goals were scored by Arnica Louis and Chrisanne St. Louis. Well, congratulations to our young ladies. In another game played at Grenada, they hammered St. Vincent and the Grenadines 5-0. Sonika Phillips scored a brace with one each for Brittany Charles, Melania Fullerton, and Monique George. Meanwhile, in the Under-14 Boys Challenge being played in St. Kitts, St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Dominica battled to a 2-2 draw. Oran Velox was the goal scorer for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and the first scoring from the free kick and then from a penalty spot. The Vincy Heat will come up against Montserrat on Wednesday. As today, that game was played at 4 p.m. St. Lucia, they played the next game against St. Martin on Friday. Well, the closing ceremony for the SLFA Coca-Cola Island Cup was held on Monday, August 6th at the SLFA headquarters. Junior brand manager Mrs. Junior Hayes addressed the gathering on behalf of her company. She stressed on the high level of quality of matches played during the tournament and the high level of talent prevalent on the island. She believes that in 2026, we shall be seeing some of these players in the World Cup. Well, for his part, President of the SLFA, Mr. Lyndon Cooper, stressed on the importance of having such a tournament on the organization's calendar. He also encouraged the sponsors to stay on board for the next 4 years, as they will be guaranteed value for their money. Monetary prizes were presented to the 4 finalists, with Masha FC, Masha, the community team, taking home the championship and their grand prize. In addition, the sponsor presented the teams with footballs and bags full of goodies. Wow, congratulations, Masha, again. The Valley Soccer 2018 Football Summer Camp came to a very successful closure. When the curtains descended on the proceedings, the point standings were as follows: Stuart Charles House of 564, Arnold Clouden House of 481, Earl Bolhug Shaw House of 426, and Stephen Ibra Edward House 281. Well, the ceremony was graced by the president and owner of W Connection out of Trinidad, who incidentally is the president of the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association. He was in high praise of the efforts of the Valley Soccer Academy's endeavors. Incidentally, both Stuart Charles and Earl Jean, that's the legends there, the head coach and assistant coach of W Connection, were on island and both pledged continued support and assistance to the academy. Valley Soccer Academy extends a special thank you to the SLFA, facilitators, coaches, parents, guardians, CCSS, staff, and most of all the campers for making the past 2 weeks a memorable, fun and educational experience. Well, West Indies all-rounder Ashley Nurse has been reprimanded and handed a 1-point demerit for language deemed as inappropriate during the team's final T20 match against Bangladesh over the weekend. The incident occurred during the second over of the Bangladesh batting lineup after being hit for a boundary off the final ball of his opening spell. Nurse's outburst was also picked up on the stump microphone. Nurse was deemed to be in breach of Article 214 of the ICC Code of Conduct for players and player support personnel, which relates to using language or a gesture that is obscene, offensive, or insulting during an international match. Well, there was no need for a further hearing following the match, however, as the player readily admitted the offense and accepted the sanctions. The charge was leveled by on-field umpires Gregory Buffett and Nigel Dugard, and the third umpire Joel Wilson, and the fourth umpire Leslie Reefer. The sanction was the second demerit point for Nurse, who was also sanctioned by showing dissent during the first ODI against Afghanistan in St. Lucia in June last year. Well, finally, Carmelo Anthony is headed to the Houston Rockets. Finally, Anthony has verbally agreed to sign with the Rockets after spending the entire offseason linked with the team. Anthony was traded to the Hawks by the Thunder last month, but cleared waivers to become a free agent. He will now join James Harden and Chris Paul, and they will try to overtake the Warriors out west. The Rockets have been busy this offseason, re-signing Paul and Clint Capella to massive contracts. Well, that's your DBS Sports. Let's take a look at your tropical weather update. DBS News continues after the break.